Hello, and welcome back to another episode of I'm Free Now What with me, Michelle Fortier, a licensed clinical social worker in private practice in the state of Florida. So today I am going to be talking about treatment for PTSD that sounds like complete and utter bullshit, but it actually works. But it sounds like complete and utter bullshit. So the first one that I'm going to briefly talk about, I don't practice, so I only know a little tiny bit about it. And that one is called EMDR. And that one, you talk about your traumatic memory, and then your therapist moves your finger back and forth, or he moves his finger back and forth, and there's all these different steps that allow you to process the traumatic memory. I don't do EMDR. EMDR is fantastic for relief from PTSD symptoms, for resolving the traumatic memory, for changing the thought patterns around the traumatic memory. And the way that they say that it works is it kind of unblocks some of the thoughts and some of the feelings, so that way you can fully reprocess the traumatic memory, so that way it's no longer bothering you. Now, the other treatment for PTSD that I do that sounds like complete and utter bullshit is something called brain spotting. So, my supervisee, somebody that I supervise for a license, she's like, "Hey, Michelle, I'm going to do this brain spotting training. Something that I looked up." And I was like, it sounds stupid. Because basically what you're doing is looking at a stick plus the name brain spotting. It doesn't even sound close to anything that would be therapeutic. I mean, come on, brain spotting. But whatever. Poor name for a wonderful treatment. So she came back after her training and she's like, "Oh my God, Michelle, it was the greatest thing ever." Like, she was able, in the training, you have to practice on each other. And she was able to process the traumatic memory that she had. And she's like, "When I think about it, there's not all this emotion tied to it anymore." And I was like, "Okay, it sounds really good. I trust her opinion. I trust her judgment. I trust her experience." And so I was like, let me give this brain spotting thing a try. COVID, not much else going on. It's now online. I don't have to travel anymore to go do it. So, what am I going to lose? If it doesn't work out and I don't like it, lose a few $100s. But if it's awesome as she says it is, I gain a wonderful treatment. So I did the training, and it was either 2 or 3 days. I don't remember, because it was so intense by the end. I just wanted to crawl into bed. So basically, what brain spotting is, let me get my stick out. Basically, look at a stick. I'm telling you, it actually works. You look at a stick, and your therapist moves the stick across the screen and pays attention to where you blink while you're thinking of a traumatic memory. And that's one type of brain spotting. And then we go back to that. And then you identify how intense your distress is, where you feel it in your body. And then I say, go inside, look in there, see what comes up. Sounds like complete bullshit. However, like I said before, is in order to do the training, you actually have to participate in getting brain spotted. Let me tell you, there was some shit upstairs that I didn't even recognize was still bothering me about my prison work. And it was crazy how much stuff came up. And the part about it is you don't, so it's this treatment, it's not like you lose the memory, because this is not eternal sunshine of the spotless mind where we're erasing our past. What brain spotting actually does is it makes it where you're not as activated. And when I say activated, what that is you're not feeling these intense emotional reactions when you pull up the memories. All you're basically feeling is, I have a memory of this. So it's not like you're crying. It's not like your whole body is having a panic attack when you think of these things. It really just helps the memory become memory instead of reliving it. And I've done brain spotting with a number of my clients now, and it has worked absolute wonders. Absolute wonders. My favorite one that I like to do, because a lot of my clients I see online, and there's kind of this lag in trying to figure out where they're blinking and all this other stuff, And so I do a lot of what's called inside window, where you like move it over here, you move it over there, you move it over there, you move it up, you move it down, and you ask, okay, where are you feeling the most distressed when you're thinking about this memory? Where are you feeling it in your body? And overwhelmingly, my clients have felt a lot of relief from their traumatic memories. And the most wonderful part about it is you don't have to talk about the whole traumatic memory. It's not like, so a lot of times, there's something called exposure where you keep talking about it, talking about it, and talking about it while relaxing. So you basically have to keep like re-traumatizing yourself while relaxing, and anybody that's been through trauma, that's really not a pleasant experience to keep talking about your trauma. It really, really sucks. So this one right here, you don't have to keep talking about what happened. You're processing your feelings and your body sensations about what happened. And, I do encourage my clients to come out, talk out loud because it seems to help with the processing. But I don't have to hear any of the details. So I don't have to be like, what happened next? What happened after that? Because it's not really relevant. We're really trying to access the body and the feelings and the thoughts and all this other stuff more than the specifics of a traumatic memory. So what they call us is, instead of like a top down, because our brain, the top part of our brain is more of our thinking part of our brain, and the bottom of our brain is more like the reptile feeling, sensation, impulse type of our brain. And so when we're doing this type of trauma treatment, we're not really trying to access that top part, because when we are going through a traumatic event, it is a survival thing. So our top part of our brain kind of isn't really processing much. It's not supposed to. We don't need to sit there and, talk to ourselves about what's happening. Our goal when we're going through trauma is to survive. It's because we are placed in a situation that feels like life or death, that either our bodily integrity or somebody else's bodily integrity is going to be harmed. There's a sense of fear. Fear makes the top part of our brain go offline, and it is very instinctual. It is very body focused, sensation focused, reactive. So this type of treatment, and it's the same with EMDR, but I don't know EMDR as much as I do Brainspotting. This type of treatment goes from a bottom up, where we're accessing that bottom part of the brain, the feeling part, the sensation part, the images part. And so that's what we're really trying to do when we're doing this type of treatment. So instead of talking, we're feeling, 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 feeling. And the weird part for me as a therapist doing this is I don't do much talking at all. My job as the therapist is to remain as calm as possible, so that way when people become dysregulated because they're going through all this, they can attune back to me and feel that sense of calmness. So my job is really to make sure that I stay calm and I am a witness to this person and their experience. So it's very weird. And so, like, a lot of times when I'm doing regular therapy, there be jumping in to correct cognitive distortions, like, that's not true, like, that's just a feeling. But with this, I am just a witness to watching the brain heal itself. I'm kind of like somebody that helps re-regulate the person. I check in with how they're doing. I help them through this process. So I am more of an observer than somebody directing it. The person's brain is completely and utterly directing the process. So for me as a therapist, I'm basically quiet the whole thing. Can you imagine? People that know me in real life, they know I am very rarely a quiet person. And in this, I'm very quiet. I ask people, how distressed are you right now? On a scale of 0 to 10. Where are you feeling in your body? And they go, oh, my throat. And I say, okay, go back in, look at what's in there. Just be curious about what comes up. Don't push anything away. Don't hold anything. Just trust the process. And then they go back in, more stuff comes out. And the goal is to get people down to a 0, that there's no distress left after thinking about this memory. And for some people, for some of their traumas, that's going to take a long ass time. They're going to have to keep coming back, accessing that trauma, going through it, reducing distress. Now, for some people, once they get through that first big one, after that, they're able to resolve a lot faster. Really, really, really a neat thing. Like I said, it sounds absolutely, absolutely ridiculous. But honestly, for me, I already know DBT, so I would never have to go to DBT therapy. I mean, what are they going to teach me? I'm a teacher for it. Maybe if I went to somebody like high level, they could give me more tips and tricks. But for me to go to therapy for DBT, it really, I don't think so. But let me tell you, I would go to Brainspotting. Brainspotting is that awesome. That weekend that I did that training, so many things resolved that I didn't even think were upstairs still. It was really an awesome experience. So I really recommend that you look into it, see if it's something that would work for you, see if you think that it would help you with your trauma. There aren't all that many people trained in it because really it sounds so stupid. I really wish they had picked a better name, but they didn't. So, yeah, so you can go ahead, look for Brainspotting. You can Google it. It is a newer therapy, so it's not a whole lot of research on it like there is for EMDR. But I can attest to my own experience being on the receiving end of Brainspotting, and I can also attest to what I've seen with my clients that Brainspotting is really, really awesome. All right. If you have any questions, any concerns, anything that you would like me to address, go ahead, leave it in the comment section. If you found this video helpful, go ahead, share it. That would be nice to help other people. So until next time, please stay free and take care of your mental health. Bye.